Another stream with Headchime and Perjan.
Hello.
Hey Perjan, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, you're doing okay. Um, Today we have a selection of lists from the last IGL. So that was the July event that we've just finished, and we're just going to be talking through those lists and having a little discussion about what we found interesting about them, and how they might play. So we're going to kick things off first of all with one of Perjan's choices. He's grabbed one of Radek's Invincible Army lists. Perjan, would you like to just take us through that and
Yeah,
talk a little bit about it?
yeah, definitely. Like as a little background check, I
Mhm,
actually played the other list of Radek, and then I
mhm,
talked about some things I had, like some gripes I had with the list with
mhm,
him, and he agrees. Like there are some things that could be in the other groups or like
mhm,
contested, but this thing, like this list, I really love. Like
mhm,
without any changes, like that's the thing. Just jumps out of at me.
mhm,
It's like simple and beautiful as a brick. There
mhm,
is like little, very little subtlety about it.
mhm.
Maybe this guy is a bit subtle, like the chain of command Haidao.
Right.
So the list is called unmasking,
Yes.
and he supposedly used it for unmasking. I would be very happy to use it for like panic room as well.
Mhm,
And the list is constructed in a very simple 10 or even 11-5 split between the groups.
yep.
And the first group is like all beef, all orders,
Mhm,
no like no different functions than just killing
mhm.
stuff.
Right.
Uh, there is plenty of heavy infantry, and I divided them into like two fire teams. There is a
Mhm.
defensive core fire team.
Yeah. So we've got the sniper
Uh,
up there.
yeah, so the Haidao MSV2 multi sniper.
Mhm,
Like in my test game, it didn't lock the table as well as I heard it might
mhm.
lock, but yeah, it still costed a few orders.
Sure.
The opponent a few orders, and then you have like a very obvious lieutenant, like
Mhm.
one, the only Shang-Chi with a combi rifle, like
Yep.
the Shang-Chi, Samshi, and then all the others are specialists. So there are
Yep.
two paramedics because those guys have high physical, so
Right.
paramedics are good, and FO is always great to have.
Mhm. That makes sense.
So this is like very, very cheap, like one function, have a sniper there. Uh, then this guy most likely will die at some point,
Mhm.
and then if you want to like, you can have a filler. But I think this guy's role is more like to keep you from like
Mhm.
stuff fideiing your lieutenant, and
Right.
also chain of command is a specialist, and
Sure.
he also counts for us essential personnel, for example, in the panic room.
Mhm.
Um, and then this Harris that he can also like feel, yeah, if one of them dies,
Mhm.
is just a very simple, manageable, fast, and deadly.
Yeah.
This is Shang-Chi, APHMG with tactical awareness, and Teenbot
Mhm.
-6, which is like an
Mhm.
amazing combination.
Right. So very hard to hack this guy here.
Yeah, heavy infantry, APHMG, decent BS, uh, template weapon, high armor, high BTS, and then on top of it, like uh, -6 to hacking him and additional +3 to BTS when
Mhm.
he's hacked.
Mhm.
And tactical awareness, so he brings this additional order.
Nice.
Then there is this Haidao killer hacker who greatly benefits from the Teen bot.
Mhm.
And is very cheap, affordable, but still a decent killer hacker. Only BTS 0, but you still don't want to mm, expose your hackers to him.
Sure.
And he can kill enemy hackers. Like if you go through repeater and just name those guys should have like BTS 9 for it, so you can name
Yep.
him the link leader and just fry the brains out of enemy hackers.
That
And
certainly
then
makes
this
sense.
guy is more like a defensive hacker. Like
Mhm,
people don't love this profile because he doesn't bring the team bot and he's
mhm.
pretty expensive and doesn't have anything special about it.
Yes.
But like multi-rifle, chain called, and a specialist with BTS 6 benefiting from the other guy's team bot
Mhm,
is no joke.
mhm,
Uh, and he is, like for me, he's a bit more defensive hacker than the Haidao because he can put spotlights on people that are creeping in on your guys. He can carbonite them, he can isolate them,
mhm.
which the Haidao cannot do. So Haidao is there to protect your fire team offensively by frying the brains of enemy hackers. Uh, and like if as this list is called unmasking, let's talk about unmasking because it has a hacking bonus for clicky consoles. So
Yes.
you have two very durable, fast hackers that can reliably just click the consoles, and then you have all the ranges
Mhm.
between them to actually go and uh, damage enemy models and the designated targets.
Right. Yeah.
Then,
So
of course,
yeah,
Flash Pulse Bot because
because why not?
they are good.
Yes. Why
Yeah,
not? Yeah. And then
yeah,
the other group, I think, over here.
yeah. And the other group, like this is like a thing that is different from between those lists.
Mhm,
Like one, the other list of Radek used for most of the missions, and then this one, it has Rishi in the second group.
mhm.
Which means that although the Ruishi cannot go on a rampage for 10 orders,
Yeah.
the Shang-Chi can, and then you can like finish the things up with the Ruishi, like
Mhm.
put a program on him, like assisted fire. You have an engineer to pick some stuff up, and you have even more repeaters and flash
Sure.
pulses.
Sure.
So all in all, there are 4 repeaters in
Mm.
this list.
It's a lot.
So with 2 hackers, you are pretty well defended
Mhm.
if you go second.
Mm.
But this list is like distilled killing power,
Right.
I would say.
Sure. So just to sum up what I've heard, the the function of this list is you've got your kind of defensive fire team over here with the Hideout, has MSV, so it's obviously a very good sniper, and it's getting that fire team bonus from the Zanshi. Then we've
Mhm.
got the door kicking aggressive Harris team here with the double Shang-Chi and the Hideout. All of these units in this Harris are hiding behind that tin bot of the Shang-Chi here, the Firewall -6, which makes them very difficult to hack. They get hacking bonuses for pressing buttons in the mission that they were played in, and they're obviously tough conventionally because they've got armor 4-2 wounds. We've got the Chain of Command Hideout, which can fill in if the obvious Zanshi lieutenant dies. And then we've got a Flash Pulse remote, just because they're great. And to finish off in Group 2, we've got the nice aggressive Rushi, another MSV2 piece, so that's really nice. And then some support, so we've got Flash Pulse Bot and the Evo Hacker and an Engineer. Does that about cover it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Like you can also deploy those guys as core
Yeah, you
if you
could do.
want to be really spicy, but
Mm.
I don't think I would like to advance with a
Mhm.
5-man.
No.
You can also like if this guy dies or this guy dies to like the dead state, then you can bring your Ruishi to the first group if you
Yep.
like.
And
But
then
then you
start
are
giving it
losing
orders.
on those 4 orders
Yeah.
to actually do something constructive with them.
Well, that certainly makes sense, and it's obviously quite a fearsome list because this was the number one
Yeah,
list from the event.
yeah. Like all my struggles with Hack Islam are basically they're very different than this list would struggle. Like list would struggle with like the Nomad hacking network,
Yes.
sort of. So you have to like brute force like your way this Harris or Ruishi. Most likely this Harris because of the killer hacker. But if you don't roll well enough,
Hmm.
then you risk getting stuff carbonated or oblivion.
Right.
And there is little ways around it. But still, like, this is a different set of constraints, and on the other hand, it like lets you feel like a unstoppable Iron Man.
It certainly does. That is the feel of the list. Not too many tricks. In fact, almost no tricks actually. Just straight up door kicking aggression here.
Yeah, just orders, orders, orders.
Mm-hmm.
IBS.
Yeah.
And AP.
Sure. So that's Radek's unmasking list for Invincible Army. I am now going to come over here and talk about an O12 list that caught my eye. Just to introduce the list.
It's pretty spiffy.
Yeah, it is. It is. This is a really interesting list because Hector is an Aleph character that appeared in Star Marder, which was the O12 sectorial. And people for a long time were talking about Hector in fire teams and how that character fits in there. Now, in this list, what's interesting is Hector's being included on his own in a vanilla faction. It just caught my eye because it's not something that people talk about very much. I had a closer look at the list and I realized that actually what I love about this list, what's so bold, is that it really seems to revolve around two main elements. You've got the Omega with the HMG, and you've got Hector with his plasma rifle. And then everything else is kind of support in terms of orders or AROs or smoke and things like that. And in that way, I think this is actually quite a bold list because it could quickly run into trouble if some of the pieces go down. What do you think of it, having a look, Pojan?
Yeah, like I am right now searching because I'm not very familiar with it. If the Hector has the Strategos, yeah, he has Strategos level 1 inbuilt, so he changes his order into regular orders.
He does.
So that's something. Yeah, so that's something very interesting.
Right.
Because when I looked at him, without this, like, it doesn't appear either on this list or on this profile, which I borrowed from the Aleph box. So yeah, so you have +1 lieutenant orders, so there is like basically like 12 orders.
Yes,
that
that's true.
Are free to use for anybody.
That's absolutely correct.
Be, so this could be Parvati, this could be Omega, this could be one of 3 Varangians. Yeah, like I don't know really, like this list only has like one, well, maybe 2 like specialists, like Gangbuster and the Parvati.
Yes.
They are very good specialists, both. Like one is a hacker, so I guess this list is more like door kicking than clicking things.
Yep, it's definitely an aggressive list.
On the other hand, you can smoke your way with like 3 Varangians, and also they protect your other stuff pretty well from other warbands. Then you can either like fire a missile in the form of this Liang Kai, or you can click things with Parvati or the Gangbuster, or you can just unleash Hector and do the stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's not like a list I would construct like if I went just to the army builder and just started picking units. Like it doesn't jump at me. So yeah, I'm interested to hear what you think it plays. Like,
so that was one of the reasons I picked this list as well, because it's not something that I would have constructed myself. But first of all, we need to bear in mind that you've got your 10 regular orders in the first group, as we've said. Now, obviously, Hector's the lieutenant, and with Strategos, he converts his lieutenant orders into regular orders. He also generates 2 lieutenant orders, so that's another 2 regulars. So we're up to 12 at this point. And then we've got 4 impetuous orders. That's 3 from Varangians and 1 from Liang Kai, if I am correct.
Yes.
Yep, there. So that's an extreme number of orders in one group if you're spending them all. You're up to 16 different orders that you're spending. Unlike the Invincible Army list that we just spoke about, there are a couple of tricks in this list. So if you want to go aggressive, of course we've got an Omega here. BS14, HMG, Mimetism -6. It's a very good active turn piece. And Hector himself is, of course, a BS13 plasma rifle user with an X visor, so he's not too bad at those long shots either. But on top of that, we've got the Varangians, right? So we've got some good close combat prowess on top. We've got some smoke grenades to block line of sight.
And Berserk.
And Berserk, of course. I believe if they're Berserking, they're CC 26, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's correct. CC 26. So
Yeah.
that's really good. They're dogged as well, so they're quite irritating ARO pieces with their chain colts, chain rifles, dogged state. Really nice. The Gangbuster comes with mad traps, so you've got some zoning potential there, deploying mad traps and obviously helping to push people back, keep them away.
Gangbuster is really good at killing the midfield specialists as well with the MSV1.
I agree. I think Gangbusters are a very, very good anti-skirmisher. They come with the MSV1 and their own mimetism, so they're quite good at trading with other squishy skirmishers. And an SMG is fantastic. With the shock ammunition, it's going to kill them instantly. So that's really good.
The only thing that they want to stay at above 8 inches from them to avoid templates.
Absolutely. One of the things about O12 is low fizz on most of the units. There's fizz 10 on that that Gangbuster, and fizz 13 on the Omega. Whilst it is a high stat, is actually a little bit lower than some other heavy infantry, which is just interesting.
Varangians are bringing this up.
Sure, they are, and obviously as warbands, they do have above average. Yeah. But I really like how many beefy dudes there are. Because Parvati has 2 wounds. Yeah. The Omega has 2 wounds. Hector has 3 wounds, or that's 2 plus no wound incapacitation.
Yeah, but with Parvati, that's the thing. You can go into NWI and then absolutely. You can heal him.
Yep. It's really,
the same
really
with
good.
Liang Kai.
And Liang Kai as
NWI.
well. Yeah. So, whilst there aren't many units here, there are a lot of wounds on this table. Right here. And then we've got a second group over here. You've got your links. That's a hidden deployed sniper. So that's another little trick that you've got. You could either reveal that as an ARO, or you could make use of surprise attack and use it in the active turn. There's nothing wrong with a BS13 multi-sniper. It's very good. And then you've got a flash pulse bot and a war core just to make up some orders and slots.
Yeah, like what I like about this list is the same thing I don't like about it. So it's free SWC. And like if you hide this guy, and it's 1.5 SWC.
It is.
And there are 12 models on the table. So you cannot deduct anything. Like if you count the points, then yes, you can deduct something. But if you are unfamiliar with the units and you are not counting points like one by one, you don't really know if it's links or if it's a delta, if it's a razor hidden somewhere. You don't know if there are like 1 or 2 troops missing. Like, where's the information?
Right.
And that's because this list is not min-maxed, and we are very used to seeing min-maxed lists. I think like that's next step in like the meta to stop running like the min-maxed lists just to play with your opponent's heads.
Absolutely, I agree with you entirely. If I saw this list across the board from me, I would be quite thoroughly confused about what was about to go down. With the fact that there's very little SWC here, I would have thought, oh, my opponent's about to put down a big, APHMG or something, and of course, that's not really the case, looking at the list. But yeah, I really liked it. I think it's very bold. It's very, very bold, because obviously if the Omega or the Hector goes down, you're in some trouble.
Yeah, there is no chain of command.
Nope, there is no chain of command whatsoever.
Like Hector is like not going down very easily, but if he goes down, then you'd better invested him in a very good manner.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
you've got to be quite confident to play a list like this. That was one of my
yeah,
impressions.
I agree. I agree. You have to know what you can expect from
Mhm.
all the pieces.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I don't know what to
absolutely,
expect from Hector. Like if
exactly.
I were to start playing it, like I know how Mega works. I know like how Gangbuster works.
Mhm.
I know how those guys work
Mhm.
because that's similar to what I have in Hackislam. But
Sure.
like, what does Hector do? Like,
Hector is an unknown
uh,
quantity,
yeah,
definitely.
like for me, it's like something akin a bit to
Mhm.
like maybe Schiavoro
Mhm.
in Combined Army. So a piece that also has a plasma rifle, mimetism, and WI.
Yeah.
Uh, also like a bit more expensive than you would like.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, like mid-range guy. Yeah, like
Mhm.
a weird piece.
I actually have a point. If you held Hector back, your opponent could quite easily think that you're about to deploy a tag. Uh,
Yeah, like a Zeta, because
Definitely,
Parvati, you don't have
right?
those guys.
No, you could legitimately think that your opponent's about to put a tag on the board.
Yeah, Hector is like 69
Yeah,
and Lynx
69.
is 33, so that's 102 points.
You're missing in the region of 130, 100. Yeah, yeah, you're right. 102.
Yeah, and
Yeah, yeah,
Zeta is like 80 something, so
exactly. You're
yeah.
in the ballpark of a tag there, aren't you? One of the
Yeah.
things I do want to raise about Hector, two things for all of the newer players watching. Firstly, Hector has stealth. So whilst he is a hackable heavy infantry, he can pass through things like repeaters and through the zone of control of hackers if he wants to without provoking arrows, unless he shoots, of course. So that's the
And
first thing.
Sixth Sense.
And Sixth Sense. And the second thing I wanted to raise is, of course, the plasma rifle is a template weapon. It's an impact template,
Nasty one.
very nasty one. So people might, for example, I don't know, cluster some of their units together, expecting a tag with an HMG or something, put Hector down, and you punish them with long range templates.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
one thing about plasma rifle, it has rifle ranges.
It does.
And if you think a rifle range is surprisingly long, if you
Hmm.
think about it, because it only goes +3 up to 16,
Yeah,
but then it is only -3 up to 32,
that's true.
which
Yeah.
with X visor, that means that up to 32, she shoots at zeros.
Yep.
So that's BS13.
Hmm.
And BS13 or up to 32 inches with a big template is no joke.
No, it's
And in
definitely not.
cover, that hits on 10s.
Yep.
And if you have like a warband somewhere, then he hits him on 13.
Hmm.
Ah, that's nasty. And
It is nasty.
X-Visor is very good also with suppression.
Yes, it really is. Hector shooting at a target in cover with the X visors probably on tens, and
Yeah.
I really like. I'd take tens with a burst 3 template weapon.
And
That's perfectly
with
fine.
32 inches, you can outrange most of the like Spitfires
Yes,
and rifles
yeah, you
and
can.
flash pulses.
Hmm.
And another thing is above 32 inches, you are only -6.
Hmm.
So you go with X visors, you are only -3. So that means like if you outrange HMG, then HMG is -3,
Yep,
but you are -3 as well.
yep,
So it's like HMG shooting like on bad range.
exactly. It's a very, very respectable piece.
Yeah,
One thing that I've literally just noticed right now, actually, truth be told, is Hector is also packing Fizz 14 and grenades, so you can spec fire those
yeah,
grenades on 11s, which is really nice. Um,
yeah,
a lot of templates on Hector. It's just something to watch out for. You've got the grenade templates, you've got the nano pulsar, and the plasma rifle.
yeah. The template guy.
Yeah. Cool. So that's what I have to say about this O12 list. I think a surprisingly technical list, despite how tough it is, because there are only one or two pieces here that are really good at the longer ranges. But a fun list nonetheless. It's similar to the Invincible Army list in some ways, but a little bit less in the direct aggression, a little bit more in the tricks, because you've got the hidden deployed and the smoke and things.
Yeah, I am really glad that we talked about it because like I'm now like itching to test it,
Uh huh.
and I wasn't able to wrap my head around it
Mm.
before.
Yeah, give Hector a go and see how it works out. I think this list is very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, like X Visor and Plasma Rifle range on a
Mhm.
PS14 platform. is something like to consider.
Yeah, it really is. And as you said, if you catch an impetuous troop out in the open, you know, you're going to be on 13s or something like that, and you might clip quite a few targets with those templates.
Yeah, you might even like go to here and start shooting at targets here
Yeah,
with doctors deployed behind, and
exactly.
that's like what's the range?
30.
Like
Yeah, you're
up to
fine.
42 inches, so that
Yep.
you are shooting on tens in cover. So if you're burst free, you only like hit one template on tens. Oh, that's perfect.
Or you hit 2.
Yeah, you hit two, so this guy might still win, but the other guys are getting like 4 saves.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
And you know, so what if the other guy wins? You're Hector. You've got 3 wounds and armor 5. I think you'll
yeah,
be okay. Yeah, so
simple math.
interesting list. Um,
Yeah,
do you want to talk about your next one now, Pojan?
yeah. The next one is also from White One.
Okay.
It's the more normal list of O12. This is something I would actually consider running from O12. I like the order split.
Yep.
That is more like in the middle. It's called Andromeda 2.3, and I guess it's like Andromeda. She's the star of the show,
Yep.
as in many lists. Andromeda, for those that don't know, is a very capable forward deployment. No, she's like
She
infiltration.
infiltrates and she has a bonus to the infiltration.
Yeah. So she can basically infiltrate on the other half of the table on like 15s, I think, because
It's
she's like +3, +6, then goes -3 for
exactly.
infiltrating on the other half. I think like this description here is somewhat borked because it only has like 4 deployment.
Oh,
8
interesting.
inches. So yeah, I think it's somewhat incorrect. So we may refer to the old Infinity Army for that.
Sure.
And yeah, infiltration +6. So that means that she infiltrates with a +6. Now for infiltration, you don't need to roll if you deploy on your half. So the +6 is irrelevant for deployment on your half of the table. It only comes into play if you deploy with like confused deployment, so biotech war or panic room, or you are infiltrating in the enemy half of the
Yeah.
table.
Yep.
And she is physical 12 and blend +6,
Yep.
so -3 for the enemy half of the table.
Yeah.
So that's
So it's
15s
15s.
to reliably infiltrate like just next to the enemy deployment zone.
Yeah.
And then she has guard.
And
So like
tell me
by
what she
now,
does once she does that, Persian. What does she do once she's in the opponent's half of the
uh,
table?
yeah, she just goes here, looks at the guy, asks for ARO, and then either like the guy can dodge, shoot her, or basically cry. And then she can shoot him with like the SMG or the zapper or the breaker pistol, or she can decharge him with her dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically.
It's really funny. So here's the thing about Andromeda. If you're not familiar with what she does, she can deploy over the halfway line with a reasonably good chance. And then because she has guard, she can make close combat attacks at range within 8 inches, basically. That means that her CC-21 plus martial arts with decharges can be delivered up to 8 inches away. Which is horrible for other units. If they shoot, they're probably going to be, what's the average BS? 12, something like that, and you're hitting them with CC-21 and martial arts. It's nasty. Very, very nasty.
Yeah, and she has mimetism
She
to boot.
does.
So yeah, so she's very capable, like first attack piece that you will be using, like to just brutalize the enemy to oblivion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she is in the second group, which is you would think like it only has like 6 orders, but to be honest, she has Alpha, who has Strategos level 1.
Yep.
So that's already 7 orders, and then 1 irregular from the worker,
Which you can
which
convert as well.
yeah, with 5 command tokens that the Alpha brings, it would be you will be converting this order
Yeah,
and moving
definitely.
people between the groups
Right.
because that's almost for free.
So then
so
that
that's
means
7.
you're on 8 and 8, aren't you, really?
Yeah. Now the other thing, like you are not forced to use Andromeda. the group also has different tools. It also has Epsilon,
Mm-hmm.
and the Epsilon, where is it?
Where's the
Like here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's an MSV2 mimetic HMG.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is he mimetic?
Yeah, he is. He's mimetism
Am I not?
-3.
Yeah. So that's just the perfect combination. He
Yeah.
negates all the MSVs and he imposes mimetism. Like he negates all the mimetisms and he imposes the mimetism -3 modifier. Starting with deployment zone, BS14, HMG.
Yeah.
Like you just need a smoke and then you are shooting like very safely and reliably. And then
Definitely.
she on top of that, he has only one wound, but he's shock immune. So then
Yes.
you have this doctor somewhere there that is lying somewhere, either with the Udbot or the engineer might have a Udbot. You
Mm-hmm.
have a choice, like
Yep.
what you need, like what is your attack piece.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so that's the second group.
Mm-hmm.
Then on top of that, there is a missile bot.
Why not?
So yeah, why not? Like, why? So what are you looking at? Is like the second group is either like a bully piece or like a safe piece that attacks through smoke from the deployment zone that you
Mm-hmm.
have to consider, and you have to like plan around him.
Yeah.
And then you have a missile bot, and the
Mm-hmm.
missile bot has all the orders if you don't want to spend with the other pieces to shoot the missiles, because the second group is all about planting those targeted on the enemy.
The first group.
So so the first group,
Mm-hmm.
it starts with Omega HMG. I love this profile. It's just like so lean and mean.
Amazing. Yeah.
It's like 40 something points for Mimetis -6 HMG with
Mm-hmm.
BS14, 2 wounds,
Yep.
armor 4. Amazing. And then you have a Cyber Ghost, who is a decent hacker with Pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Cyber Ghosts have BTS 6
They
and
do.
Willpower 14 and Stealth, which matters for hackers, believe it or not.
Very much. Yeah.
Yeah, and they are like 21 points, so that's
Mm-hmm.
not breaking the bank.
No.
And then you have flash pull spots because you have to protect them. Then you have smoke for your Epsilon,
Mm-hmm.
all in a different group. I love it. I love how they are splitting the thing. Like, you want to shoot through smoke? Sure, have 7 orders to plant the smoke,
Yep.
or even 9. You want to attack with the HMG and plant the spotlights?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, then you have 7 orders to shoot the missiles or attack with Andromeda.
Yep. Absolutely.
You have another hacker here with her own repeater that she can plant into your enemies
Mm-hmm.
in the same order
Yep.
that she is hacking through this repeater.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes at the enemy with the repeater. He goes there, goes into the the range of this guy,
Yeah.
and then she goes there, and
Mm-hmm.
she asks for a arrow. And if this guy dodges or something, then she can hack him.
Yep.
If this guy resets, then this
Then-
guy can template him.
Yep.
Like, amazing.
Siriuses are very, very good. Really good profiles. And
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
forward
then
deployment as well, you've got that repeater very close to the opponent instantly, straight away.
Yeah, the only downside is that it's a big dude that is easy to see and
It is.
kill. Yeah, but you can protect him with Mouse Tracker and the Mud Trap
Mhm.
and some smoke and Andromeda and flash pull spots.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
Gangbuster, Mad Traps.
it's very well-rounded list, I would
It
say.
is. And it's amazing, isn't it, that actually that list can put out, what, 7, 8, as another 8, 16 HMG orders, 8 on the Epsilon and 8 on the Omega if you want to go long range.
Yeah, you are not forced to use Andromeda.
No. And if you want to
By no
push
means.
hard, you can put 8 orders on the Sirius or the Gangbuster and 8 on the Andromeda. And if you want to be
Yeah.
more defensive, you can start hacking and use the missile launcher. It has
Yeah.
3 different avenues here.
Yeah, I would maybe like go back to the Hector list a bit because between those two lists there was a Panic Room to be played, and Panic Room punishes you for sitting, excuse me, in your deployment zone.
Yes.
So this list has a lot of pieces that are sitting in the deployment zone and
It
don't
does.
want to move from there.
It
Flash
does.
pull bots, missile bot, engineers, doctors, lieutenant, Epsilon,
HMGs.
even Omega.
Yep.
Yeah. and these guys needs all to do a role to deploy there.
Mhm.
But the other list, the Hector list, the Hector is and the Lian Kai, they are the perfect pieces to go into the panic room.
Absolutely, and also because they're characters, they score extra points in the panic room.
Yeah, and NWI on the
Mhm.
Lian Kai means that he can just sit in the zone if he
Mhm.
doesn't want to move and be healed by Parvati.
Yeah,
The same with Hector.
amazing. Yeah,
This
it's
guy is
really,
hidden
really good.
deployment. Yeah, so he doesn't get the hits from the zone until
Mhm.
he reveals.
Yeah,
Okay, so enough of that. Yeah, I really appreciate the list because we talked
yeah.
about them. I really appreciate them more.
This list, the second one that you just spoke about, Persian, is really, really fascinating. The fact that you've got so many HMG orders if you want, or you can push very, very hard with Andromeda and the other infiltrators. Just a correction on Andromeda's profile. She does have both infiltration and forward deployment. One of the profiles has just forward deployment, and the other profile
Oh,
gains infiltration. So you pay extra points
all
for that.
right.
Yeah.
All right. I think
Cool.
that's the difference also between being a specialist and not being a specialist, right?
Possibly. I closed what I was looking at now because I'm foolish.
Yeah, the infiltration. No,
Let's have a
she's
look.
always a specialist. She's always a
Yeah,
specialist.
she's always a specialist as well.
And she has a
Cool.
flash pulse,
She does.
just
Because
because.
why not? Because they thought, let's make Andromeda really good in this edition. And they did. So there we go.
Yeah.
But if you ever dreamed about having a dog deliver C4 to your enemies, there you go. Run Andromeda. That's the profile to do it with.
Mm-hmm.
So, last list that we've picked out, and I had to go for something a little bit different, something that you don't see very often.
Yeah, and tell me why. Tell me why you had to go for something like this.
Well, you don't see Merovingia that often, do you, really? It's not a faction that's played an awful lot. But one of the
Yeah.
things I wanted to say is I think they have gained some power in N4. Wolfgang is a fantastic profile, and I mean, we don't need to talk about Mirage 5, do we? They are amazing.
Yeah.
So, why am I interested in this list? Because as someone that plays vanilla myself, I am very interested in lists that have lots of independent pieces that can act on their own. And I'm just showing the main list here. You can see that, yes, this list does have a big core fire team. That will be the Metros with Wolfgang or with the Moblo. I believe the Moblo can join the Metros. So you do have that core team. But you've also got 4 chasseurs, which are very happy being independent operatives in the middle. They've got mines, they've got flamethrowers, they've got rifles. They're really, really solid.
Yeah.
And you've got Mirage 5, who are very, very happy on their own too. Dropping down into the enemy's deployment zone, BS 14 on Margot, 2 wounds on Duroc, and just wreaking havoc.
Yeah, sorry, I'm losing some voice. So I'm talking too much.
It's fine.
Yeah, like, and chasseurs, you don't need to choose if you want mine layer or forward observer because you have AVA 4.
Yep.
So you can have two of
You get
those,
both.
two of both.
Mhm.
Do you know what Bruant does really? Infiltration AP Spitfire. So
Yep.
that's AP Spitfire that's static in the middle of the table.
Absolutely. AP Spitfire that starts in the middle. You've got single-use camouflage, which isn't amazing, but it's enough. It is enough. And bizarrely or not, you've got an X-Visor on that Spitfire as well, so you can take crossboard shots with it, which is quite interesting.
And Zouave Paramedic, does he also have infiltration or something?
No, I think the Zouave has forward deployment and a Panzerfaust, and things like that. It's just quite a solid profile. It's a dogged Panzerfaust user. Yeah, that's right.
And a specialist, that is
exactly.
for deployed for Duroc.
Yeah.
That's something to consider.
I mean, you have to respect a forward deploying paramedic in a profile that has what, a Fizz 15 dog? Fizz 16.
Yeah. And Wolfgang is no joke as well. Like,
Yep.
what's Wolfgang's Fizz?
Sorry, which Fizz?
Wolfgang.
Where is he? I haven't seen that. 14. 14.
Yeah.
Wolfgang is a new profile to me. I haven't spent too much time looking at it, but one of the things I did notice is it's a burst 4 multi-rifle. In a core fire team, you're up to burst 5. AP ammunition on the multi-rifle. Plus 3 BS, you'll be up to BS 15. And very, very good close combat. Really good close combat on this guy.
Also multi-rifle is not something you see that often in Ariadna?
No, definitely not. It brings another dimension to the list.
Oh my God, I just opened the Merovingia in the army builder and I'm amazed how little profiles there are.
Yeah, they only have about sort of 20 profiles or something.
It fits on the screen.
Yeah. One surprising thing about this is there's actually a lot of AP. You've got the AP rifle on Margot, you've got the AP on Wolfgang as well, and then you've got some like Panzerfaust and things like that around. So it can deal with larger tags and things like that. Of course, you've got the AP Spitfire on Bruant. If we want to have a look at what this list will deploy like, it's worth noting that we've got camouflage, 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 camouflage. So it's going to be deploying a lot of camouflage markers. We've got our chasseurs, we've got our mines, and we've got Bruant. So there's a midfield to contend with if you're playing first against
and
it.
then those are out of the table.
These will be off, exactly. So very scary to go up against if you're playing first because you've got a lot of camouflage markers to figure out. Another thing that I like, I'm a big fan of fire teams with redundancy, and you'll notice that there are 6 members of this fire team. One of them is the lieutenant, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so you might want to leave one of the metros back because it's a lieutenant. But it does mean if your Moblo goes down or Wolfgang goes down, you are still at 5 members if you just reform the team. So yeah, it's great. But one of the things that I respect most about sectorials are the lists that run good fire teams and independent operatives. And what better independent operatives are there than Mimetism Dude with an AP Spitfire and Margot and Duroc? Really, really fantastic profiles.
Yeah.
What do you think of it, Perjan?
I think I would need to see it in action. I have not seen a Volcan deployed yet, but HMG, BS13, HMG of Corlink, I can definitely see its effectiveness.
I I like lists like this because, you know, if you want to go and push a skirmisher on the first turn, you can do that.
Oh, this is Shock HMG.
Yes, yeah, it has shock on all of its guns. It's BS attack shock. Yep. It's also immune to shock as well, which is worth noting. So
and paramedics and physical 14.
Exactly.
12.
Yeah, so it's quite easy to bring up again. But yeah, I really like the number of choices in this list. You've got the HMG
it's a
here.
very safe list.
Yeah, it really
you
is.
You have so many camos. Your specialists are in camo, so they are very, very safe.
Yeah.
Then your core team is all hidden, or your main attack pieces are out of the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, very safe list.
It's a list that can be incredibly hard to deal with because
and this your main attack pieces on the second group is also hidden.
It is, yeah. So that's exactly the point, isn't it? Once Duroc has dropped down, they're obviously going to have this 2-wound huge beast to deal with, while you've got Bruant, who might still be in camouflage, and the fire team, which might be tucked away safely somewhere. So it's very difficult to deal with all of the pieces in this list.
And if you are too well hidden, then, well, get ready to 8 order speculative grenade fire.
Absolutely. I love lists that have good push factors. They push the opponent away, but they also pull you towards them. Pull them towards you as well. And what I mean by that is you want to hide from the HMG, but if you hide too much, you're going to get spec fired by Margot and the grenade launcher. Or a dog's going to land in the back and start putting chain rifles over you.
Or Bruant.
Or Bruant. So you think you can hide from the HMG, but if you do that, you're arguably just making things worse. But yeah, that was the other list that that spoke to me, and it's always nice to see Merovingia. They are not run that often.
I hope that this talk about the list will, especially for the newer players and the players that are like not placing in top 10 regularly, it will like shine some light on like the users of the list. It definitely like unfolded this list, especially for me, like just talking about it with you, like analyzing the profiles. So yeah, I encourage you to do the same about different lists with your friends.
Yeah. So if you're watching this, folks, just take a look at different lists and try and figure out how they might play. If you're really curious, perhaps try deploying them, see what's camouflage, what's not, what's on the table and what isn't. And just imagine the different choices. Think like, what am I going to spend my orders on turn one? Is it this HMG here, or is it this Spitfire over here? Just have a little play around, or on the Massive Dog, yes, and just have a think about it. But hopefully these lists have sort of driven the imagination, and yeah, look forward to seeing you in the next season of IGL. Anything to
Yeah.
finish, Pojan?
Come join our mentoring pods. I think we are pretty full right now, but people are trickling in even mid-season. That's there are still spots left, so you can just join or just hang in the Discord, ask questions.
Definitely. Yeah, please do. Come ask us questions and come play Infinity with us. That's all for today. Thanks very much for watching and see you next time. Bye.
See you. Bye.